This is Fuji Superia 400, one of the most overlooked color film stocks on the market today. With the rebirth of film photography over the past 5 to 7 years, many film photographers were drawn to Kodak color film stocks, including Portrait 400, Portrait 800, because of the beautiful pastel colors that the film stocks would render. And these colors just could not be replicated for the most part by any other film stocks. Kodak has the crown, and I think that's fair to say for the most part, and rightfully so. Now this is where I think Fuji Superia 400 comes in. Now one can only speculate why this particular film stock has been so overlooked by so many photographers. So let's go into the field and take some photos and see what we can get with Fuji Superia 400 and talk about why I think it is one of the hidden gems of color film photography. Now what I think really sets Fuji Superia apart from the other color film stocks that we've mentioned is its color renditions. Now Fuji Superia 400 is known for having very vibrant colors, a more contrasty image, but also maintaining true to life skin tones. From a technical standpoint, this is because Fuji Superia has 4 layers of color emulsions, while most other 35mm film stocks only have 3. But essentially, when you're shooting with Fuji Superia, you can pretty much bet that any scene that you're shooting, whether it's indoors or outdoors, is going to have very rich colors. Along with that, you're not going to have a ton of color shifting in the highlights and the shadows, which is something that typically happens in other color film stocks like Portrait 800. Now grain is a very important part of film photography to me, so when I look at different film stocks, I like to pick ones that, have grain that fit my particular taste. And I think that this is a strength of Fuji Superia 400 in particular, as it delivers sharp images with very fine grain. So as long as you're exposing the images fairly well, you're going to get sharp images. However, when it comes to exposure, this is probably the weakest point about this film. For instance, if you're someone that shoots with Portrait 800 regularly or any portrait film stocks, you'll notice that you can overexpose and underexpose the images and have a fair bit of information to work with in the shadows and highlights. They're very forgiving film stocks that you don't have to nail exposure on. That is not the case with Fuji Superia 400, at least in my experience. Now, although I would recommend this film for shooting both indoors and outdoors, you really have to make sure that you're exposing this film properly. So if you are shooting indoors, I would recommend using a flash 100% of the time, because first of all, it renders flash beautifully. And second of all, you're not going to get a lot of information in the shadows to pull back when you get the scans back. Now, although it does not have a lot of exposure latitude like Portrait 800 does, where it is far superior than these portrait film stocks is its affordability and accessibility. Let's just see how much one roll of Portrait 800 costs. Okay, so right now you can buy a single roll of Portrait 800 for $17.95 retail at B&H. That does not include tax. And let's see how much it costs to buy Fuji Superia. Okay, so Adorama sells a single roll of Fuji Superia for $14.99. So that's $3 less. Or you could go to Walmart and get 3 rolls of Fuji Superia 400 for $24.98. So for $7 more of buying 1 roll of Portrait 800, you could just get 3 rolls of Fuji Superia 400. So it's far more affordable than Portrait 800. And I would say that Fuji Superia is a fantastic color film stock for any film photographer, but especially for those who are just getting started and don't want to dive into the money hole that film photography can be. Because when you compare it to the more high-end at this point film stocks, it really does compare well in terms of image quality. There are different looks completely. Like I would say this looks different than Portrait 800. It absolutely looks different than the Cinestill 800. And it does look different than a Fuji 400H. However, when it comes to just overall image quality, something that you're going to take and be happy with, this compares well to all those film stocks that I mentioned. And when you consider the price that it comes at, I think it's a win-win. I think it is a hidden gem. among all the other color film stocks out there, and one that should be used more in your rotation as a film photographer. But yeah, if you made it this far, thanks so much for watching the video. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to see more stuff about film photography, digital photography, and filmmaking in the future. So yeah, as always, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Oh, that was 18 minutes of just, excuse me, suffering, but we'll make it work.